So today we're going to start an intro to sequences. If you guys look at the pattern here, who can tell me what the next number is going to be? That's 48. Nice. How'd you get that?
Because they're all 12 by 12.
Adding 12, multiplying by 12? Adding. Good job. And it's consistent every single time, right? You're adding 12 over and over again. Great job. So when we look at something called a sequence is just a list of numbers, right, that are in a specific order. Like that's how we added 12 every time. If we were going to take the sum of all these numbers, if I actually physically added up, I took 12 plus 24 plus 36 plus 48, and I actually added them all and got 120. Right. That would be called a series because you took the sum of all the numbers that were in that sequence. Now, just some vocab that you guys are going to hear. I just don't want you to be like confused if you do hear it. A term or an element is just a number in the sequence. So, for example, up here, 24 is a term or an element. It's just part of the sequence. So if you guys hear that word, don't be confused. It's literally just the number. A finite sequence is basically a sequence that ends. So you can tell exactly how many terms you have. You can count them up. An infinite sequence, infinite kind of sounds like the word infinity. Like it goes on and on and on, right? Usually you guys will see like dots after, right? That means it goes on. If you want to keep figuring out what the pattern is to keep going. This is probably the most important thing for you guys to kind of understand. We're going to start seeing things called like a sub 1, a sub 2, right? Like the sub, is the S-U-B, right? Sub means below, so you're saying a sub 1. What these represent is a location of things in a sequence. It's not saying that like it's number 1 or number 2. It's saying the position. So a sub 1 is going to be the first spot. A sub 2 is what the second position is. A sub 3 is the third. Same thing, like A sub 6 is going to be the sixth term, like whatever that term is. So it really tells about the position the numbers are, not the actual number. Right? Yeah. This is kind of like the same thing, like your first term, second term, third term. So whenever we are writing things and we're trying to talk about a sequence, we're going to be using this little a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3 to kind of represent what comes first in the sequence, what comes second, what comes third. So the first thing is just a little warm-up. Okay, you guys are given a formula here. So this is something that you guys have to have here. Like just like in your homework, you're going to be given 2 formulas, and you're going to be asked to find other terms in the sequence. So this one wants you guys to write the first 3 terms in the sequence given by this formula. Now, whenever you're going to write a term, okay, the first term is always going to be a sub 1. Okay, that's going to represent your first term. Now, if we want to do a sub 1, look at your position of the 1. See how you have a sub, and then you have a 1 here, and this is a sub n. What do you guys think the n is going to be like? A 1. Good job. Right? So yeah, this is a 1, and then that's in the same spot where the n is. So what we're going to do, if you want the first term, whenever you guys see an n, we're going to put a 1 in its spot. Okay, so we're going to put 1 in for n. So we're going to go up to your formula. All right, we already have our a sub 1 where the n is here, but we're going to put a 1 in for this n. So it's going to look like 2 times 1 minus 1. So 2 times 1 is 2 minus 1 is going to give us 1. So this tells us our first term is going to be 1. Now if I want 3, you've got to keep going. Our second term is going to be represented by a sub 2. So where you guys see an n, what do you think you're going to put in? A 2. Nice job. I'm going to roll with this. Okay, so we're going to put a 2 in. So we see an n, we're going to put a 2 in. Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 is going to give us 3. Now, if we want to find the third term, anybody have an idea what we're going to do? A sub 3. And where we see an n, we're going to put a 3 in now. 6 minus 1 is going to give us 5. Now, basically like substitution. So So if you guys actually wrote out our sequence of numbers now, our sequence is going to be 1, 3, 5. Could you figure out probably what's going on here? Going up by 2. So if I wanted to keep going, my next one would be 7, 9, and you keep doing this out. Right? But these little 8 sub 1, 8 sub 2, 8 sub 3, that just tells me like what position it is. So the second position, the 8 sub 2, is going to be 3. The 8 sub 3 is going to be 5. I think that's kind of the most confusing part, is like what those little subscripts represent. Okay. If we want to find the 5th and 10th term, it's a little tricky. What do you guys think for the 5th term? Good, Aaron. Yeah, you got it. Good. Whatever term you're looking for, it's the 5th term. We're just going to do 8 sub 5. So that's what the 5th term is going to be. So we're using n, we got to put a 5 in its spot. That's going to be 5 over 6. All right, you can get fractions, totally fine. Oh, it's a fraction? Here's a fraction. Oh no, that's okay. Oh, weird. Okay, sorry. Yeah, let me get. So you have a subtraction sign there? Okay, so then you would have minus 1. So 5 over 4 then, is that what you guys got? Okay. Sorry, I don't know why this is different. So if you printed that maybe? If you guys are looking for the 10th term, what do you think you're going to put in? A 10, awesome. So 8 sub 10 is going to be 10 over 10 minus 1, so 10 over 9. Yep, you got it. Perfect. What do you think so far? Piece of cake, not too bad? Okay. All right, flip it over. And sometimes, yeah, they do get a little tougher. Those other ones we did were pretty easy. Here, if we're looking for the first 4 terms in the sequence, I'm going to start you guys out with this and let you finish it. So if I wanted to find the first term, we're going to do a sub 1. That always is going to be your first term. So where you guys see an n, we're going to put a 1 in its spot. Just make sure you guys are really careful with your parentheses. Now, a calculator might be a little dangerous here. So if we take -1 to the first power, this is where you really want to make sure you're using parentheses around that negative b. So make sure you put them in. -1 to the first power is going to still be -1. So now this part's -1 times, well, I have to do all this stuff in parentheses next. Let's see, 1 squared is 1. Plus 3 is going to give me 4, yep. So now I can do -1 times 4 is perfect. So my a sub 1, the first term is going to be -4. Why don't you guys see if you can find a sub 2, a sub 3, and what a sub 4 is going to be. Right, using that formula. Trying to get me.
Feel like going on something specific.
No, I'm going to go on.
Like in the next part?
Yeah. Actually, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we should stop. So when you guys are subbing in, just watch out for this negative base. So just kind of what you were asking. If you have an even exponent, what did you guys notice about your ones? Were they positive or negative? Positive, good. So when you guys have a negative base raised to an even exponent, it becomes a positive. But when you guys have a negative base, right, raised to odd exponents, okay, see how your one stayed negative? Right, that always happens in math. But it's really important you put your parentheses around that negative base, because if you use your calculator and it does it, then you're kind of out of luck here. Right. You know what? Let me give you guys one more to do. We won't do recursive today, because that's a little bit more complicated. And then I'll let you do homework, okay? Just us. Yeah. Oh, you guys have plenty of room on this sheet. Just to copy this. All right. Why don't you guys try? Right. Find the first 4 terms then I'm going to give you guys a formula. A sub n equals -3 times n plus n squared. So here's your formula we're working with. I want you guys to find the first 4 terms of this. So we should be looking for a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, and what a sub 4 would be. Try it out. No, okay. So you want the first term, and that's like a sub 1. So if you know n, this is the big with the 1. Okay. Then we're going to see the n in the formula, you're going to plug in a 1 in this spot. So what would that look like? Good job, good. Okay, so now do that. So now just 3 times 1 is 6, and then plus 1 is 3. Good, so that's going to equal what? Okay, so that's the first one. Now if you want to do the second one, you can 2. Here you see n. Yep, so now you're plug where you see it's n, and plug this 2 in this spot. Anybody want to use a smart slate with this?
Do you know like the pattern? Do you ever have to do the rest of them?
Once you get, oh god, Devin is the chance had the best little saying. It was like, 1 is a coincidence, or 1 is an incident, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern. That's his little saying. It's from like a TV show or something. So once you have 3, Matt, you could tell the pattern.
Yeah.
But you can't assume it's from one, like if you have 2. You always need 3. So once you have 3 of them, you don't have to do the 4th one. You can like know what it is, if it's consistent. Anybody want to do it up here?
Yeah.
Whatever you said, I don't know. I didn't do that. One is -3 plus 1. You weren't paying attention the whole time, so why?
This is so weird. Can you hear me?
Oh, you know your earphones.
What? I only answered the first 2 I got negative for, so I was like, yeah, girl, I do too.
Great. You're on a roll. I gotta change your homework a little bit faster, but it's really easy.
Change it to no homework?
No. You guys do all your homework right here.
No, I write down on the table.
You don't do it. That's right, Gad. Come on.
Hey, I did it last night. Yes, I did.
I'm into the sound like
I've been like 4 homeworks this quarter, okay? Get off my back.
Okay. Alright, so this should be what you guys have when you write it all out. Anybody want to share what they got for the first one? -2. Super. What was the second one? -2. Good. And then? 0. Super. 4. You have 4? Nice. Awesome. Alright.